Hey everybody, this is Brett. And yeah, I'm just getting over my full moon migraine, and it's a regular happening for me, and I'm feeling better. And they call them migraines, but forever I've called them healing crises, and they often happen. Most of the time they happen for me during the full moon. The full moon peaks tomorrow morning at 9:50 something, I believe it is. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that my muscles start to relax now and I start to feel better. It's been kind of a hard one. In any case, today I would like to talk about what I think about what's going on with Trump and RFK and Elon Musk and all of that. And I'm not claiming to be any sort of an expert, but I do have an ability to analyze things for the most part. And, what I'm seeing is that a whole lot of things that were whacked on one side are getting kind of offset now by the other side. And neither side is even close to being like ethical, righteous, etc. But at least it's getting offset. And forever and ever and ever, I can tell you that I've thought like, how the hell are we going to deal with this massive government waste? And the thing that's against government is business. And so a long time ago, I voted for Ross Perot. It was 1991. And Ross Perot was against Clinton and someone else, probably. No, I think Ross, can't remember. And he wasn't running as an independent. I think he was running as the Republican candidate, but I can't remember for sure. But I voted for him. Me and like 17 or 18% something. Don't quote me on that. A lot of people voted for the billionaire Ross Perot. And so then now, we get this person that's a somewhat celebrity and millionaire, and we vote for him. I didn't. I didn't vote for him. I'll never vote for someone like Donald Trump. But I will say, though, that from what I've seen now, what he's doing, and a lot of the things he's doing, people scoff at. But I can see the logic in them, including Gaza. Okay, so we'll get at that in a minute. But he's like a necessary evil. Okay, Trump is like a necessary evil. And I have to say, and I didn't think that I would say this, but now that it's happening with RFK getting in as the health, whatever they call him, minister, it's a pretty cool thing that he's done what he's done to be able to get in there. Now, he's not going to say what he really thinks about Trump like I do, because if he did, Trump would not accept him to get in as the health guru. And so he's played his cards smartly. And it's pretty cool if he can get in there and make some changes, because that's exactly what our country needs. It's the biggest thing. I've told you this before. It's the biggest thing. If he can start getting people to think, anybody, even if it's just a relatively small amount of people that he can start to get to think about preservatives and so many different things. It's really amazing how he's worked his way into it. and for me, like I said, I couldn't do it. I just have to say the truth about Trump, which is that he's a criminal. He's an egotistical, unethical joker, you know? But if that's what it takes to get our government to change, whatever it takes, I guess. But at the same time, we're going to find out, the people on the right are going to learn more and more, and on the left, the truths about both sides. And, it's all good. It's perfect. It's perfect that we get rid of a lot. I hope they get rid of a lot. Now, maybe that's the wrong choice of words. A lot of people in the government and businesses need to do something else. I've told you this for a long time, that a lot of people are doing a lot of worthless jobs, and that includes government jobs, where they go and, the government has become like a mafia. It's like kind of like Putin's government. It's just not as corrupt, but it's still very corrupt. And if all of these changes can expose all of the waste and corruption, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's just like Hamas has now been exposed. They exposed themselves, and now they've gotten destroyed. Unfortunately, there's all of this collateral damage. These poor people in Palestine that have lost their homes and everything else. And so now I'll talk about that. So a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you're going to turn this into the Riviera. Well, sometimes big money has to come in and help where there's a problem. Okay, so before it was just horrible. I mean, it was poor, and we know what it was. It was just a corrupt, and you've got tunnels underneath the whole thing, and all of these Hamas terrorists running the whole thing and influencing all the people there. And so now the whole thing's destroyed, right? Well, what the hell is it going to be done with it? Well, now you've got this president that wants to do something with it, and it is right on the water, which gives it some value. Exactly what they're going to do about it? Well, a lot of people are going to have to think about that real freaking hard. All of that rubble. How in the hell are you going to get rid of all of that rubble? I mean, the whole freaking thing has been leveled. And there's no, I mean, you would have to take it to Egypt. You would have to truck it all out to Egypt. Egypt is, I mean, there's where else? Jordan, Egypt. These are the closest places, north, Lebanon, that you could take all of that rubble. It'd all have to be hauled out or something. Israel doesn't want it. I guess there might be a few places there where they could just stack it up, but you can only pile it so freaking high. And then what? Where are all these people going to stay? Well, they'll have to stay probably where they're at mostly, because Egypt doesn't want them. So, regardless, we're talking about a lot of money just to oversee it and not get too involved. Trump is going to try and find some investors, some countries where they're going to be like, you know what he does? He tries to cut deals. So he's going to try and make some deals with Egypt and other surrounding countries. he might go to Dubai and say, hey, you want to build some skyscrapers here today? We'll let you do this and that if you'll do this and that. That's what he's going to do. He's going to try and cut some deals. That's what Trump does best. And so even though he is a criminal, an unethical, blah-de-die that cheats at golf, he has value, obviously, because who else wanted to be the president of the United States? Who else that has money and power and gumption and this and that wanted to take on the role of president of the United States? I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do it. I've thought about it. A lot of people have thought about that, doing that job. And a lot of people with money and power that have nice lives would never want to take it on. And so you got to give him some credit because somebody other than a politician needed to go in there and do something to change the way it is. How long can our country sustain being just keep printing money and getting more and more into debt and getting more and more government programs and more blah-de-da government employees that go and they push a pencil across the table every day. They're like, hey, let's just push this incense across the table, and that's what we got done. We inputted a few little things into the computer, and that's what we got done for the day. Worthless jobs. Probably millions and millions of worthless government jobs, right? Just think about all of them wasting billions and billions of dollars buying. And think about all this stuff. Hey, they're cutting deals, right? Like, if you'll buy these pencils for $3 a piece, we'll give you this or that, right? So they're working deals with the pencil company to sell pencils for $3 a piece. And then under the table, they'll give them something back in return. Like, God knows how much waste is created in our country. And so there's just and think about when Biden was allowing all of those immigrants in every single day, like 11,000 a day, right? What was he thinking? Why was he doing that? Was it for votes? What was it for? You know that, I mean, there's nobody that can say that there was any degree of sanity with that. Like, how can that be? I mean, Republican or Democrat, how can there be any sanity in allowing that many people? Shouldn't those countries get their acts together sometime? Shouldn't those countries eventually stand up to the cartels and the crime? Eventually? You would think, right? So people don't change unless they're forced to. So somebody coming in and forcing all of these immigrants to go back, like, isn't that a good thing? Like, it's hell, right? Imagine that you're an immigrant and you came here and you built a life to a degree, right? And then somebody just tells you that, okay, you got to go with us and you got to go back. That's really hard. But if you're somebody that committed crimes, like, think about how good this is. If you're somebody that came to this country illegally, you're not committing crimes now. If you were thinking about committing even a small crime before, you're not now. Even just stealing some little thing. If you were thinking about stealing a penny, right, before, you're not now. And so this is a good thing, right? It's really whooping people into line. I mean, and so there's a lot of good things about all of this, even though, like I said, there's no way in hell I'd ever vote for Donald Trump. I'm just observing. I'm just telling you what my observances are. Now, the worst thing for me personally is if Trump stops supporting Ukraine. Okay, if Trump stops supporting Ukraine, that is a very, very bad thing. And I hope that Europe and Ukraine are really, really getting prepared for that possibility. There's no way that Russia can go in and take over Ukraine now fully, like they thought they were in the beginning. No. Any Russians going into Ukraine thinking that they can have any degree of peace and be able to sleep at night, occupying Kiev, however it's pronounced, there's no way. People in Ukraine hate Russia so bad now. There's no way that they would allow any sort of occupation and Russian government takeover in most regions in Ukraine. Yeah, in the east, where they want to be ruled over a dictator, by a dictator. In the east, yeah. But in the regions they've already taken over. So that's perfect. That's perfect. But what I'm hoping is that even if Trump does pull out all support for Ukraine, and I've heard different opinions on this, how there's no way they can. There's so many U.S. contracts to provide weapons for them, et cetera, that we'll see. But you know that I've been a full-on supporter of Ukraine ever since day one. That ain't changing. And my opinion on Trump, I mean, there's no way. I'm just saying that, and I've never been against his policies. Building the wall, fine. I mean, as far as the tariffs are concerned on China, to a degree, yes. Whooping Canada and Mexico into line with tariffs, if that's what it takes over time, then okay, because I think it's a good idea. Like I said, most of the policies, Trump's policies, I'm in agreement with. To the degree that he takes it, probably not. But in the way that he does things, probably not. But like I said, he seems to be a necessary evil. Okay, and I'm not going to argue with it at this point. What's going to happen is he's going to overstep his boundaries. He already has done that. He's going to overstep them to the point of where he does some things that are just so obviously insanely unethical that a lot of people on the right are going to continue, are going to, and in the middle especially, there are so many people on the far right that are never going to disagree with anything that he does. But people in the middle and to the right of middle that are going to get so continually disgusted. We're going to see circumstances with individuals that are so disgusting from things that he does. Inconsiderate, beyond inconsiderate things that he does that makes him look so bad that eventually, hopefully, my hopes are that we come to the center in so many different ways, that we come to reality, our country comes to reality with the government and with health and with foreign aid and with trade and this so many things. We can't continue to just import Chinese goods forever. At the same time, we can't continue to just drill, baby, drill forever. That's insane. Anybody that doesn't realize that the environment is really, really important, they're out of their minds. So you've got a conflict of interest there. He's hiring RFK, an environmentalist that's a natural health advocate, but at the same time, he wants to drill, baby, drill. Okay, so it wouldn't surprise me if he eventually fired RFK, because somebody's going to say to RFK, hey, what about all the air pollution? Your boss, he's advocating for the burning of more fossil fuels. Don't you care about that? And so he's just going to have to bite his lip and be quiet. If he wants to stay in as the health, whatever his title is. And so those are my thoughts. You basically just have a hell of a lot of polarity going on. And all of that polarity eventually back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Eventually, the dust settles. And then there is peace. After you've got all of these angry people on the right that are saying, what about our jobs? Yeah, you can't do that. You can't have Elon. Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about Elon. Okay. So Elon Musk, he's not afraid to fire people. And so like putting him in as the, what's the title? What's it called? The government efficiency, blah-de-da. Putting him in as the head of the government efficiency, blah-de-da, to me, that's perfect if he can find the time, and he's the perfect personality, right, to do that. And so, I don't know, it seems perfect to me. But, look at me. I'm a business person, okay? So I'm not a blue-collar worker. I never have been. The last time I worked for somebody else, I can't even remember. I'm 59 now. I can't hardly remember. Oh, okay. I worked at a grocery store. I worked at Smith's grocery store in Roy, Utah. About 25 years ago, I worked there part-time. Okay? But seriously, you're not looking at somebody, hi Joe, you're not looking at somebody that has much of a care, thought for like average workers. I'll just come out and admit that. Okay. You're looking at somebody whose father and grandfathers were self-employed. So I kind of, in a lot of ways, tend to lean right. Okay. But at the same time, I lean right in an ethical manner. And I definitely I can understand the unions, and I can understand the blue collar people, and I can respect them and all of that. But in order for our country to get more sustainable, people need and will become self-employed more and more. And we really need people to start working at home and not going anywhere. And that's exactly what can happen. So many people have little shops in their houses. And like what I do here with making woodworking products. So many things can be made at home and sold on eBay and Etsy and on personal people's websites. Natural health things, as an example, is a very good thing that people really need. And people will start getting into, maybe, you could start a little business making tinctures, making herbal tinctures. The more people realize that natural health is real health, the more all of these different things can be made by little entrepreneurs at home and sold on the internet, and they don't have to go anywhere. Wives or husbands that stay home while their spouses go to work, or maybe they're working at home too, they can be working, making extra money on the side, doing these kinds of jobs. Things that replace all of the toxic plastic things being made in China. Can you see how things are kind of manifesting? You know what I mean? Like if there's a loss of something, there's going to be an open possibility for somebody else to step in and fill the void. It's really cool. And so somebody that comes in, and even though it seems and is to a degree very destructive and uncaring, I'm talking about Donald Trump firing people and getting rid of agencies and this and that, a lot of those people don't like their jobs because they know, they feel, they don't feel good about doing the jobs that they're doing. And so they've already taken their 8-month severance pay thing and signed the contract. They're like, hey, this is an opportunity to do something different. And hopefully they'll find something really good to do, right? Right, Joe? If they can find something really good to do that's better than selling pencils for $3 a piece, something unethical or just worthless. So many people, and it's not just that, it's a perfect example for other people that are doing jobs that don't really, they went to college, right? And they got a degree doing blah-de-dahs, right? The colleges created this degree that you can become a certified blah-de-dah. And as a blah-de-dah, you go to work every day and you create blah-de-dahs. And they're not really worth anything, and they don't really benefit anyone. And blah-de-dah. Okay? So I guarantee you that there's something out there, like it might even be a physical job where you go into the hills in California and you cut shrubs all day. You cut down things that you cut stuff that can be burned, that can burn, that can catch on fire from flying embers. Think of all the different jobs. Building houses out of natural materials. You could make little houses out of natural materials and sell them, or whatever. There's so many different things that people need. We need a reevaluation, my friends. We need to, and when the you-know-what hits the fan in our world, things get reevaluated. It's perfect. I love it. It's so good. And it's really, I'll tell you, as somebody that's had a lot of changes in his life, I can tell you that I can totally understand the pain, the serious pain that people are feeling if you're one of the ones that's impacted by the changes that's happening in our world. I mean, think about if you were living in Palestine and you were not a Hamas supporter and your house was completely destroyed, you did not support them in any way. And maybe you even worked for the Israelis. You were somebody that went across the border every day and you worked for them. And like, think of how badly you're screwed now. So many people there were screwed, but a lot of people there were supporters of Hamas. And a lot of people were Hamas. And so eventually that situation had to change. And it's not just that situation. There's other situations there. And I'm not no expert on all of that, but for my entire life, I've seen how that entire region, you want to know why I'm not into Christianity? That's the region where Christianity came from. Right? That's where Jesus was from. It's no wonder the Bible was born in that area. It's desolate. I would not want to, I don't even want to move back to Utah, okay? I want to move to wherever it's the greenest and the lushest and the most fruit trees. And I mean, I could definitely leave the United States and go live. If I had the cash coming in, if I can figure it out, don't be surprised if I move to an island somewhere. Someplace where there's beautiful girls, naked ones. Beautiful naked women. You know what I'm talking about, Joe? Yeah. That's one of the things that makes you just like want to get up in the morning. But you got to feel bad for people that live in places like that are just desolate, you know? Have you ever seen southwestern Iran? It looks like the planet Mars. Red, it's like horrible. It's worse than any place that I've ever, it's worse than southern Utah and northwest or northeastern Oregon. Like, have you ever been to that area? Have you guys ever driven through that area in southeastern Oregon and northwestern Utah? Oh my God. Absolutely desolate. You can drive for hundreds of miles and not see anything. The Woden worship. I'm not familiar with Woden worship, Joe, but I'll tell you an interesting factoid. Quetzalcoatl. I haven't studied those. Because I've seen enough religions that I'm not searching for anyone's teachings. And I have a direct connection with creation. We're all personally guided. But the difference between most people and me is that I recognize the signs. And when you start to recognize the signs, and it's not just the law of attraction, when you start to recognize all of that, it goes beyond any book. It goes, I mean, and I'm not saying that, because I can open any book and get the signs from creation. I can pick any card out of a tarot deck and get the answers that I need. I can do any random thing like that. I can go into the grocery store and listen to the song that's being played, and it'll tell me what I need to, what energy, what vibration is happening. Hey, Cage. So when you start to tune in to all of the clues that are happening in your life, especially, I think it could be that because of what I've been through in my life and where I'm going and my mission, etc. It could be that I'm getting some special attention. I don't know. I can tell you that when I tell a lot of people these things, a lot of them will go away. Like if I talk about how I get clues directly from God, whatever you want to call it, I don't even know what it is. I don't even care. All I can tell you is that it guides me every day. And when I tell a lot of people that, they'll see, It was 9 viewers, now it's 5. Bam! They don't want to hear it. Only some people are open to hearing about stuff like that. I've lost friends because I tell them that I'm not going to stop talking about this kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not. I may on Vitality Massage because I need it's it's like RFK. He's got to be really choosy about what he talks about, otherwise he's not going to get sworn in to nominated as the health guru, the health secretary, whatever it is. And so, some people are ready to hear some things and other people are ready to hear other things, and some people aren't ready to hear some things at all. And you got to figure out who's ready to hear what and not say, you know what I mean, to some people. I do, but you can only reveal so many truths to some people, It's like that scene with Tom Cruise. You can't handle the truth. It's like that reply. Too much information. That's too much information. But yeah, the thing with the Middle East is that Jewish people are really intelligent. And you see that with their abilities. And they're really strong people. They have a lot of detrimental qualities, in my opinion, but those are some of their good qualities. Those good qualities can get out of hand, but they do that to survive, And they live in this place of where they have not so progressed people around them. Let's just put it that way. And so they have to kind of do extreme things to survive. And and if Trump can plant some sort of money seeds, see, because money, there are things. If anything can make that region civil by God, you would think at least to some degree it would be money. Okay, so if Trump can come in there and get some people interested in something in regard to money, real estate, and if he can somehow work in the good people of Palestine into that ordeal, then maybe it can become something better than what it was before, which was not good. What it was before, the whole thing, before the terrorists, Hamas, attacked Israel, what it was before all of that was not good. There's nobody that's going to tell you that it was good. It was just basically they are surviving on a lot of charity brought in from other places like the United States and other places. And without that charity, it probably couldn't even survive at all. I mean, they only have a small amount of land for growing things. There's not a lot of water there, right? There's not a lot of resources of any sort. Probably. If there were, then it would be rich, but it's not. So if you can do something to bring money in, if you can do something to attract the billionaires, then there will be, it's like Panama. Panama, they get a lot of money from that canal that we built. And if we hadn't built that canal there, people there wouldn't have very much money. Panama is one of the richer nations down there because of the canal. So I'm just saying that maybe Trump's got something about that. Now that it's destroyed, you might as well do something with it. Good luck with that. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be rather interesting. to see. A lot of the time, he's not going to be able to do a lot of things for a lot of different reasons. Judges blocking him, protesters blocking him. but here's one thing. Don't get too involved with all of this, because it's going to become overwhelming. I can tell you this from my own personal experience. For me now, I'm kind of, I go to the news. I've learned that I can't just completely get rid of the news. I told you that I was going to completely get rid of the news. And then I went to the store and there were no eggs on the shelf. I said to the guy, there was 3 dozen blue eggs. Have you guys seen blue eggs? There's a particular bird that lays blue eggs, and there's a company that has all of that particular type of chicken. And so all they sell is blue eggs. And that was all that was left on the shelf. And I think that it was because people are freaked out by the blue eggs. I'm not. I love the blue eggs. It's a heritage breed bird. And they're fed non-GMO, and I don't think it's organic, but I grabbed two of the 3 dozen. And so I said to the guy, "What's up with that? How come there's no eggs?" And he said, "Haven't you been watching the news? There's a bird flu going on." And I was like, "Oh man, I have not been watching the news at all." And so it would be nice to completely get rid of the news, but the reality is that you need to do what I'm doing, and that is to go to your favorite newscast and click on it and just buzz through it. At least take about a minute to click through the whole broadcast to see if there's anything that you need to know. Because you need to know if there's something that's going to affect you. And once in a while, something does come up like that can affect you. And if you're updated on the possibility of something catastrophic or whatever, then you can prepare yourself for that. So most of the time, though, it takes me about 1 or 2 minutes. Once in a while, I'll see something that I feel is interesting or entertaining or something I need to know about in that regard, like on the news. But most of the time, it takes me 1 or 2 minutes, and I just zip through it. I zip through the weather forecast. Oh, there's going to be a hellacious storm in the Northeast, like right now. I'm like, okay, that's I've seen that a million times. There was a giant car accident to pile up on the Interstate 40 or something. I've seen that a zillion times. Now we're starting to get used to the antics of Trump. We know he's doing this and he's doing that. And then there's a federal judge that's going to block this and he's going to block that. And he's getting rid of an agency. He's creating another agency. We're going to get used to all of that now, right? And then we can just kind of go back to the grindstone and keep sewing pillows, or go back to my room and keep doing self-massage and getting all this crap out of my extremities, and keep working on my health, and keep working on calming the mind, and keep working on positive affirmations. Okay, so whenever you get overwhelmed by all of the changes, there's going to be crap loads. If you study astrology, you know that Pluto just went into Aquarius for the last time, and it's going to be there for 19 years. This is one of the astrological things that's going to create significant change in this world. Be prepared. Know that what I'm telling you is happening. It's not just, you don't have to know astrology. Just look at the crazy stuff that's happening. And then start preparing. Remember the last time I broadcast accidentally on Vitality Massage? I forgot to switch it over to Brett's Natural Health, and then I did a live. And so afterwards I realized it, and then I deleted that. Bad on me. Bad Brett. So, in any case, Keaton Feather Canyon Serpent in Mesoamerica was a serpent represents knowledge and wisdom in contrast to Christianity associating with evil. Well, I don't like want to associate with evil, Joe. I just want to get it all out of me. That's what all this cleansing and healing is all about. But yeah, like if people aren't doing things that make them feel good, that's really basically the bottom line. Each of us has something that we need to be, or multiple things that we need to be doing. And at the end of the day, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or male or female or religious or not, or whatever it is that you are, at the end of the day, if you have good thoughts and feelings about what you did during that day, and you feel that you were a productive, you were compassionate, that whatever you provided for this world had value in some regard, then you are fulfilling your mission. It's that simple. And if you were fulfilling your mission before, and now all of a sudden the new administration has come along and your job, you lost your job, well, I'm sure that you'll probably find another job doing something similar to what you were doing before. And you'll be able to continue fulfilling that mission. But if you were not doing something that was fulfilling, you were not doing something that made you think like, wow, I was doing really good work, working for the government as a whatever. If you are not doing something, hopefully you'll find something better to do that does give you good thoughts and feelings at the end of the day. And change is a good thing. But like I was going to say and forgot to say before, is that I'm somebody that totally understands the pain of change. I have moved ever since I was born. I moved. My parents were constantly breaking up and getting back together or moving. And by the time I graduated high school, I had moved and started up in so many different schools. It was worse than like a military parents, having military parents. It was that bad. And then after I got away from my parents, I was so happy to get away from them for different reasons. I continued to move and I continued to change all of these different things in my life. And now that I've made all of these changes, it's still difficult because there are so many things social things largely, that I can't participate in because I got rid of those things. Restaurants, bars, things that people do typically to be social. I don't do those things. So I have to meet people in order to meet people that are like me, friends or lovers, etc. I have to be very selective to do that. And friends continue to come and go with me. Things continue to come and go with me. Just when I feel that it has started to level out, something comes along and I just gulp. I just get a big old gulp. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. Another move. And now I have more stuff than ever. Like when I moved out to North Carolina from New Mexico, I had one large van full of stuff. Now, if I were to move, I'd have about 4 vans of stuff. I'd have to have a 24-foot U-Haul to carry all of this stuff because I've built a business, you know, and it's a good business. It's doing really good. The only thing that's holding back my business right now, well, the main thing, God feeds me enough business. Right now, I have more than enough. And I have to just keep reminding myself that to take my time and to not let it overwhelm me, not let that overwhelm me, not let the world changes overwhelm me. And so I have to go into my little room. I've created this very beautiful and peaceful little space where I can breathe and uncork and connect with God. So that's, you know, you're talking about some religion, some spirituality, whatever it is. I don't feel a desire or need other than to just be with people. And so the ones that I can go to are kirtan. I enjoy kirtan, even though I'm totally not into, well, I mean, you can see that I'm kind of into Hinduism because I've got a lot of masks from Nepal, you know, but that's just because I like wooden masks. And that's just because I like to color my walls with things. I like colors. I love colors. I think that when you eat a lot of vegetables, and when you like art, and you like to cover your walls with colors, and it's cheap and easy to buy the tapestries and put them on the walls, and they're big. they're really cool. Look at that one. That's huge. That thing is like 9 foot by 12, and it covers that whole freaking wall up there. Can you see that one back there? There's one back there. There's a fish one. That's a fish one. Here, I'll turn on the light so you can see the fish one. Can you see the fishies? Can you see the fishies on the wall right there? Fish. See that wooden mask up there? Right there. That's my biggest one. And I've got a dragon on the back, on the back door back there. There's a dragon. Those ward away evil spirits, you know. And then I've got a little Hanuman mask outside above the door there. And then I've got the long, skinny dude in my room. And so I just go with stuff that I like. You can go to any kind of a gathering and find people that you like. And you can go to any kind of a gathering and find people that you don't like. You could be somebody that never drank alcohol, right? Ever. And you go to an AA meeting And you'll probably find some people there that you like for some reason. Maybe they're have similar astrological vibe as you. Maybe you do something that's similar to them. I mean, so, but you have to be, when you find gatherings that you like to go to, it's good to kind of be in the ballpark, as most of you already know. And so I like musical gatherings. That's why I like kirtan. I like to go to ecstatic dance. I can groove to anything with art, like farmers markets and vegetables, you know. So I like to go to those. And I like tea, so I like to go to the Dobra Tea House. And I like comedy, so I can go to that. But really, I just kind of wanted to tell you some thoughts initially on the current political happenings in our world. It's not all bad. In fact, it's all necessary. Yes, it may be evil, but that's what it is. It's necessary, for the most part, evil things by a corrupt criminal. Yes, that's what Trump is. He's a corrupt criminal. But I guess if that's what it takes to set things straight in our government, because I've wondered, like I said, for a long time, how is our government going to stop wasting money? How is it going to get smaller? How are we going to balance the deficit budget, reduce the deficit? Like, how are we going to do a lot of things? And if this is what it takes, well, I guess, what else can be said? So I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I hope I didn't rub anyone too badly the wrong way. Be well.